Through the Alpha walkthrough, we've touched upon a number of changes and alterations in area tiles, new chambers, and so on, along with much more subtle changes. There have been bigger alterations, which have completely changed the scenery. We've already discussed some of the more notable missing parts in their chapters. How several extended crypts were cut down and repurposed, and their codings taken to create the Lost City, HMCS Bitter, and the Altar of Hashak Gik. We've gone through the Repel reshuffle, exposing that the Repel dungeon seen in retail actually used to belong to another pair of deleted spells, and Repel had an original completely different dungeon of its own. We've highlighted the cut chess match where Kain was intended to match Vorador in a battle of wits. We've explained the complete reworking of Avernus. We've illuminated the original Spirit Rack dungeon, the extended Willendorf tunnel, the time streaming chamber, and the altered layout of the Nemesis Keep. But there are still some areas that are normally unreachable or otherwise mysterious. For starters, there's a house interior which exists only in the Alpha build, that comprises of 2 cages. It doesn't seem to be one of those found in the game world, and even attempts to reach it by using walkthrough walls to force the game to load the next area fail, with Kain being ejected into Vassabund. Its coding suggests it's an interior area among the first towns, and its positioning perhaps suggests it as a Vassabund interior. One potential candidate could be the house on the far right, which has an open door in the Alpha and is closed in later builds. But this is nevertheless inaccessible in either. We've already touched upon the Ice House before, but it's another example of a room that we don't really know where it fits. While we can use walk-through walls tricks to reach the room, it doesn't connect to elsewhere in the world. Its coding suggests it was intended to be an interior somewhere around the Korhagen area, but where exactly is unknown. The 51 dungeon is another interesting case. It's actually present and reachable in the Alpha on the lower shores of the Lake of Tears, but what purpose the area has is completely unknown. It consists of a couple of tiles with the Bone Armor dungeon style decorations and appears to only contain basic power-ups. It's perhaps worth noting that the 51 designation coding does exist in retail, where it deals with a number of smaller bonuses. Notably, the secret megalith structures and the southern crypts in the cemetery. Now we start to get to the truly mysterious areas. The 52 dungeon only exists in retail as a secret cave nearby Stenchencrow. In the Alpha, a completely different and much more extensive and normally unreachable dungeon occupies the 52 designation, with 15 separate rooms. These rooms have a number of different styles and items which could indicate a number of different areas, potentially suggesting it was made up of several smaller bonuses that had been lumped together under one designation. Although another prospect is that it represented a large underground complex, intersecting with a settlement above ground, so something like the Underground of Avernus is a possibility, especially given the content and blood symbols. Using technical trickery allows us to explore them, and means that we can begin to group together the linked rooms to make that 9 distinct linked areas. Either way, what it actually represents or what was to be gained here is unknown.
Victor!
53 is another dungeon that has massive changes. In the retail, 53 represents a series of icy caves nearby the Oracle's cave network, a sub-dungeon which isn't present in the alpha. The Alpha instead has another completely different uniform complex, with the bone armor style theming at 53.
Causing my victim's body to shrink on itself, crushing bones and rupturing organs till the pressure inside burst.
This is another dungeon that can only be reached with advanced technical trickery, and is prone to glitches and crashes. The layout seems to represent a loop, not unlike other ability dungeons. But again, what is to be gained is unclear, aside from a few minor bonuses.
A medley of death and evisceration. Let fate choose my enemy's demise. These curious devices hurl bolts of whirling energy and eviscerate my human enemies by stripping ragged flesh from blood-stained bone.
The 55 dungeon consists of some caverns that aren't in retail. what their purpose is unclear, but the last two rooms in the coding are a pair of blood fountains defaced with the blood symbols seen in Avernus. The 56th dungeon is similar, with a single cavern with an appearance much like that of 55, and again the dungeon has a pair of defaced blood fountains at the end. The purpose of these rooms is again unclear, but seems to be somewhat significant, and they could well correspond to the unused dialogues relating to restored health, restored magic, improved vampiric abilities, and protection from the swamp.
Your health is restored, for our blood heals. Your magic is restored, for our blood heals. Your vampiric abilities improve, for our blood enhances. The swamp will do you no harm, for our blood preserves.
All of the fountains require advanced technical tricks to reach, but none has any significant dialogue, instead repeating generic fountain messages, although they do use the extended greeting that was cut from the final game.
Our blood enhances, our blood preserves, our blood heals, for the blood is the life. Our blood enhances, our blood preserves, our blood heals, for the blood is the life. Our blood enhances, our blood preserves, our blood heals, for the blood is the life. Our blood enhances, our blood preserves, our blood heals, for the blood is the life.
The only room that's reachable in regular gameplay in the 56 designation is the initial cave, which is present in the long and winding road section leading to Avernus in both Retail and the Alpha. Interestingly, another secret, the lava cave off the ruined land, is placed in the 56 designation in Retail, but that cave isn't present in the Alpha. The 63 dungeons are another mystery, which possibly has some understandable explanation attached. The first area here is the regular pillars, which we'll skip for explanations, but it does give us a window to reach the others. The other two areas present a pair of megalith circles, not unlike the real-world Stonehenge, which is what they are named after in the official guides. Now there are a pair of secret henges which exist in the Retail game. They're both accessed from caves nearby Natchdome, and don't exist in the Alpha version. But crucially, these megaliths appear quite different to those. In fact, one of the henges here does appear in the Retail game. It's on the island on the Lake of the Dead that houses the teleporter to the Lost City. Of course, both the Lost City and that version of the Lake of the Dead aren't present in the Alpha, but it does appear that the megalith circle tile was adapted to serve as part of the Lake of the Dead. Just to confuse matters, there's a hidden warp to the first Megalith by the save altar of the Light Dungeon. Again, the ultimate purpose of these areas is unknown, but it appears they would have been used to house secret bonuses, just like in retail. Our last little mystery is a behind the scenes one. One of the last areas in the map list is 7192, and it doesn't exist in retail for good reason. It appears to be a darkened copy of the level select area, potentially an early version left over from the previously hinted June build. Only none of the doors are connected. This version is slightly reshuffled in terms of overall layout, and has a number of minor changes from the main alpha version, with several entries retitled. The initial Nada or Bren exit here is titled as OL0. The Lightning Dungeon is LGNG rather than LTNG. The Pentaleash of Tarot Spirit Forge is PNT-TAR rather than PNTR, and the forges seem to have been rearranged. Interestingly enough, several boss entries, including those for Azimuth, Bill and Vor, are missing from this version. Perhaps most significantly, however, are the entries which suggest other unseen and rearranged dungeons. The Repel entry appears in OL4 rather than OL5, suggesting it was moved back to the space it occupied in the Alpha. A Bat entry suggests a deleted Bat form dungeon. That space is blocked in later versions. Another space in OL2 has more implications for the Repel reshuffle, with a space later taken by Lupo occupied by an SHLD entry, clearly referencing a shield ability. But at the same time, the space that will become SHAB, the combined shield dungeon, is still present, although labelled as SA?. It could perhaps be a suggestion that the Force Shield and Magic Absorb were to be gained separately in the original planning, or it could refer to a cut shield weapon, one like the implication from the Natchdome Armoury mural. Finally, another entry after Malik's Bastion is labelled as B?. Again, it's unclear what it could be referencing, but one possibility is the cut bone sword, especially since it comes soon after the bone armour dungeon. This particular doorway is blocked in later versions of the level select. These entries dangle tantalising possibilities of what may have been present in the fabled June build. Only time will tell if we can uncover more on that one. We hope you've enjoyed this extended rundown of prototype differences. No doubt with Project Deluge at work and some other contact in the works, it might not be long before there's more cut content discoveries to discuss. Until then, Vae Victus.
The mage is insane, I tell you! Insane! Listen, can't you hear him cackling to himself?